Hey guys, welcome to this week's track guide and the last one of the season at Bathurst. Before we get started, I just want to say thank you very much for all the likes on all the videos, all the comments, all the new subscribers this season. It really has been great. I can't wait to get started on next season already. Obviously, it's not going to be a track guide next week because of week 13, but I am going to be hosting a bunch of community races, a bunch of hosted races, a bunch of these fun races where everyone can get involved in, including a main feature race on Friday evening. Whereas there's going to be some iRacing credits up for grabs, probably like $30 for the winner and $20 for the best place driver under 2k. So if you want to get involved in that, you can join the Discord. There's an invite link in the description below. Or you can go by the Twitch stream at twitch.tv/BenEvs. When I'm streaming, obviously stream 5 days a week, as you all know by now. Okay then, the weather. Track temperature is currently 23 degrees, and as always, the date and time set to what the official sessions are going to be set to next week. And onto the setup. Setup this week, guys, nearly the same as it always is. 54% brake bias, minimum tyre pressures all round, 8 on the anti-roll bar. SPO this week, I put it on a +3. I did do a bunch of laps on a +5, whereas I didn't manage to damage the front wing. It was just a bit too stiff going over, dropping down a little bit as you come down the other side of the mountain. So I've settled on a +3, and that's what I did this lap on. But this is probably going to be one of these tracks where I chop and change the setup as I go into the races all week, depending on how they go. And then obviously 7.9 litres of fuel for Qually and 11.8 litres of fuel for the race. Okay, on to the main part of the guide. Remember that the B-lap and O-lap files and that are all on my Discord if you want to jump on and download those. The lap we're going to look at today is a 2:31.739. You can see 21 laps, then you can see the sort of times previously I was doing here, testing different setups and so on. Right then, as we cross the start-finish line, up into third gear, coming down towards turn 1. Up in the fourth gear. Braking marker is pretty easy. We brake on the 50-meter board. And we're going to go down into second gear. So up towards the 50-meter board as we hit it. Off the accelerator, on the brakes, about 65% there. Down into second gear, turn the car in. I think I missed the apex a little bit on this one. That's not too bad. You're aiming for a really good drive out of this corner because this is such a long straight down here. You want to use all the curve on the exit. Maybe that's a little bit too much, but it's not so bad. The important thing about that corner is getting a really good drive. Even if you're slower into the corner, just make sure you get a better drive out of the corner because of this such a long straight down here. As we go over this little hump, we're going to go up in the fifth gear. I tend to wait until we go over the hump to go up in the fifth to keep the car in keep the revs high in the car. Up towards this corner. Again, the braking marker is going to be on the 50-meter board, and we're going to drop the car down in the third gear. What I was finding with this corner when I was testing is you can go far quicker around. It looks tighter than it actually is, and you can go far quicker around it than you actually think you can. Or at least that's what I thought anyway. Hit the board, down in the third gear, 50% brakes and off. As we turn the car into the corner, we're back on the power really early. There's not much of a corner because it really does open up wide, so you can really chuck some speed through this corner. You've got quite a lot of track used on the outside. You'll start going, when you first start testing this track, you'll go around this slow and then you'll start going faster and faster and faster. You'll get up to a reasonable pace. Okay, heading up the mountain. Let's speed this up a little bit. Now this little left-hand bend here, I don't like to take tight because I like to make sure the car is on the right-hand side of the track, ready for this next corner. So there's no need to be tight on this corner. As you can see, I'm a little bit far to the left. Normally I like to keep it sort of in the middle of the track. As we come up to this corner, you want the car far over to the right-hand side. Let it drift out right. You can see I'm already on the brakes here. And already down the second gear and already starting to turn the car in. But really, you want to open up this next corner as much as you possibly can. If I go to the cockpit, the braking marker. So basically, when we turn left around this corner, as the car straightens up from going round this left-hand corner is when we're going to start braking in a straight line towards the outside of the track. We look at it. So we turn the car in. as the corner starts to open up again, we let the car drift to the right-hand side. And then we're going to come off the brakes, go down into second gear. And as you can see where the car is punked in, I'm kind of like punked in towards it. Yeah. So you can see where the car is pointing. It's kind of pointed towards the outside of the track in second gear. And then we're going to slowly start to turn the car in as we come off the brakes. And you can pretty much see him immediately back on the power, up to about, 65% or so. Until I feel confident enough that the car is going to get round the corner, and then we're immediately back to 100%. Really important, again, guys, to get back on the power as soon as you can, because you need a good drive up this hill. And you need to be as close to this wall as you can possibly get as well. Pick up the chase. Well, you can see how closer to the wall I actually am. I didn't actually hit the wall on this lap, but you really want to be as close to it as you can get, and that is pretty much scraping the wall there. But luckily there was no 0x or 1x go around there. Okay, the next couple of corners are relatively easy. We're going to go from second up into third. All these corners are flat out, so just keep the throttle pinned. Third gear, let the car come to the right hand side of the track. Drift to the left hand side. As we get up to the top of this crest, we're going to go up into fourth gear. Left hand side of the track, all of these corners flat out, keep the throttle pinned. Even on cold tyres, these corners are flat out. Still in fourth gear. Now we're going to keep the car at this point, maybe wanting to go up into fifth gear. This is one of these times where I like to keep the car in, just keep it in fourth gear all the way to the next braking zone. Now this next corner is flat out. It's a little bit tricky though. As we come up towards it, because of this little crest here, you can see I like to turn the car in a little bit early as we go over the crest. But then we're too early for the corner turning. So if you can have a look at the steering there, you can kind of see I turn the car in a little bit. And then I kind of straighten the car up a little bit, and then I turn in. Most important thing though, keep the throttle pinned at 100%. This corner may get a little bit dodgy on cold tyres. If it does, you may need to lift a little bit on maybe the first lap, and that's about it. From there on, this corner is going to be a flat out corner. But it takes some practice because of this little lip here. It can be a little bit tricky to get through until you find the right line to get through it. I play from the cockpit here. You can see the car turns in. I kind of straighten the car up a little bit, and then turn in, and I use this curb on the inside here, and then let the car come out to the right hand side. Keeping the car in fourth gear then, as we're going to start coming back down the hill, and obviously the most difficult part of the track. Now in practice, this took me about 15 laps before I got through it without hitting the wall or crashing. So it should give you an idea, if you've never done this track before, just how many times you need to practice this section to actually get through it without dying. Okay, as we come towards it, we're going to keep the car in fourth gear. You can see I'm lifting really early here. There's no real need to lift this early. You can really keep the throttle pinned until you get under this whatever that is, advert board bridge thing going across the track. Most important thing though, guys, keep the car as far to the left as you can. Turning the car in. I'm just going to lift off the accelerator here as we go around this first corner. As the car straightens up here, so as you straighten the car up, you're going to be pointing it in this direction, and that's when you want to get on the brakes. Now I like to, all this downhill section, or this first part of this downhill section, I like to think of as 3 different braking zones. So you don't want to be on the brake and then off it and then on it and then off it a little bit. You just want to think of it, and if you can get used to it as 3 different individual braking zones, you should gain time through here. So, turning the car in, lift off the throttle. As the car straightens back up, this is the first braking zone here. So we're going to come off the brakes, and this is where we're going to come down into third gear. Down in the third gear, we're going to ride this curb here, taking as much of it as we can. A little blip of the throttle. Then, as soon as we get off this curb, we're into the second braking zone. We're going to hit the brakes there and we're going to down into second gear. Now, I'm a little bit off here. You need to be much closer to this wall. I'm taking a much straighter line through this corner as you can. But really important to know where and when to brake here. So again, turn the car in. On the brakes, so you're going from fourth gear, first braking zone, you're going down into third gear. You go over the curb, into the next braking zone, and you're going to go down into second gear. Coming around this corner, and then as we come around this corner, this is the third braking zone. You can see there's a little blip of the throttle, just to, I don't really know. It's kind of like a little dead zone here, so it's just a little blip of the throttle before getting back on the brakes again. A little blip of the throttle, not even to 100%, and then back in the brakes to a third braking zone, down to the left. This left-hand corner though can be a little bit tricky because it's obviously the car when you're in the car, it feels like you kind of just drop off a cliff. And this is the reason why I've got the car's SPO on a +3 instead of a +5. If I go to the cockpit, you'll see as we go over it and it kind of feels like the car drops off a cliff. Especially on cold tyres, it can get very, very slippery there. So be extra careful through there. I just want to play this section again. Just because you need to understand sort of how to get it right and how to... You want to go through here as straight as you possibly can. 3 different braking zones. Blip the throttle every now and again when you feel that you can. Lots of practice needed to get it right. As I said, took me 15 laps to get through here safely. So, into the corner. Straighten the car up on the brakes and down to the third. Ride this curb. As we come off the curb, we're pointing the car towards the next corner and on the brakes again and down into second. Aim a little bit wide here. You need to be much closer to this wall to get a much better line through here. Little blip of the throttle on the brakes again, staying in second gear. You can see the car is getting a little bit slidey through here before we eventually get back to 100% throttle and up in the third gear. Any questions about that section, guys? Feel free to drop a comment down below and I'll try to answer any questions you may have. Okay, so from this point, when we get back to 100% throttle again, the throttle is pinned all the way down here. As we come up into this corner, we're going to lift off the throttle and basically just coast around most of this corner. Little blip of the throttle again. As the car straightens up, that's when we get back on the brakes. We're going from third gear down into second. Not a very heavy braking zone, it's just a long braking zone. You can see the maximum I'm ever braking at here is probably 30-40%. Little blip of a fall, down, second gear. Long braking zone, as you can see me really trailing off the brakes here. And then when I'm pretty much halfway through the corner, when I know the car is going to get out of it, I am back to 100% throttle. Again, this is one of these corners we need to get back on the throttle as soon as you can because there's such a long straight down there, down this next bit, without hitting that wall on the right hand side. Okay, pretty long straight. Skippies this week, expect lots of draft down here and expect lots of attempts from people to overtake down into the next 2 corners. This corner is flat out as we come down into the next braking zone. Now, the braking zone again is a nice easy brake marker. It is on the 100 meter board. It shows we come up towards it. Just as we hit the 100 meter board, we are on the brakes. See down here 60, probably I go up to about 70% here. You know, 75% braking. So quite a really hard braking zone to really slow the car down. Down in the third gear. Now you can, this corner again looks much tighter. Well, it is a tight corner, but you can really carry a lot of speed through here. And we're gonna use, if I go back to chase, you'll see we're gonna use plenty on the exit. So turn the car in. Just clipping the inside of the apex. We're just gonna back to 100% throttle. And you can basically see I've nearly gotten off track there. Nearly. So close. You cannot take any more than that. Any more than that and it would be an off track and the lap invalidated. The thing about this corner though is this corner is easy enough. But it's this curb here. This curb on the outside here really does, best way to explain it, really does come up on you quickly. You just got to be prepared for it as you come through. If I go to the cockpit and press play, if I go at full speed through here, you'll see how quickly this corner does come up on me. Turn left and then suddenly there the curb is. You really can't be getting on this grass. Not only is it an off track, you will struggle to get back on the track. Probably going to get some massive rejoins here, so if anyone does go off wide, be careful of people rejoining down here on the next bit of the track as well. Okay, so round this corner, flat out without getting an off track. Using all the curb on the exit as we come down towards the last corner. Underneath this other bridge thing again. Bringing the car to the right hand side of the track in 4th gear. In the braking zone we're going to go down into 2nd. Pretty easy brake marker again is this pillar here just before the 50-meter board. The cockpit. Coming towards it, this lamppost even. Hit the lamppost. Again, another really big braking zone. 75% braking here. So I'm really hard on the brakes here without locking the wheels. We're going to go down in the 2nd gear. Turning the car in. If I go back to chase. You do not want to clip this curve on the inside. You can see I'm a little bit off here because I'm purposely trying not to hit it, because if you hit this curve on the inside, yeah, it's going to throw the car out wide and you're probably going to end up in this red wall out here. The car goes wide anyway on this lap. Using all the curb on the exit and down and across the finish line. There we have it then, guys. There's the track guide complete for this week and also the last one of the season. Again, there's no track guide next week, but if you want to get involved in the community races and join the Discord or come by the Twitch stream. Again, thank you all very much for watching. Thank you all the likes, the comments, the new subscribers. It really has been great. I can't wait to get started on the track guides next season. So until then, guys, I hope to see you in the community race next week. Have fun. Catch you later.
supervisor. Start keeping an eye on that fuel pressure light for me. .74.